So that was dark, and I guess we shouldn't be surprised because the 100, it's been dark right from jump, right from season 1. This is 5 seasons now, but this felt different. It was a new kind of darkness, and a new kind of darkness, I guess I'll give the show credit for within the cannibalism subgenre. I've never seen this twist before where it's not just cannibalism, but this kind of collective enforced cannibalism where anyone who doesn't take part, they just become the meat for the other people to consume. So it was horrifying, and it was horrifying to see these lines that characters have said throughout the show, and we've kind of accepted. Now they're being said within this new context, and it's just horrifying. And in some ways, I guess, are they trying to reveal just how empty these philosophies that we've kind of accepted and bought into, we see them pushed to their logical conclusion, and it's just horrifying. So when Madi says to Clarke, she feeds her that line, she seems to be team Octavia all the way and says, look, she bears it so her people don't have to. It's this weird perversion because when Clarke or Jaha, Dante, everyone who were leaders, they seem to be making these tough decisions but doing the evil deeds themselves to spare their people the guilt. With Octavia, it was more like forcing everyone else to also participate in these dark actions. So in some sense, they had this bond, and it would strengthen them and give them this kind of unity. And now you see why her army's so loyal. Not only has it been stripped of everyone who was, I guess, too soft, too human to engage in these horrible things, but also there are people who are now have been bounded by this dark secret, this dark depravity, and will follow her to the ends of the earth. And with Octavia, it seems a little less like leadership and making tough decisions, and a little more like weird abandonment issues, rather than I bear it so they don't have to. It's like I force everyone to bear it so we're all bound together, and I have this army, this family that will never leave me. It's just strange, and I guess it's really showing that all along we've seen characters talk about the greater good and making these logical, tough decisions removed from emotion. And we saw how with Jaha, it kind of drove him crazy. He sacrificed his son, and I think subconsciously that just, he started hallucinating and he was driven on this salvation mission, and it just, you saw how he really did, he made the tough leadership decisions, but in some sense he kind of lost his soul, and I think he went crazy a bit. And then you saw with the AI, Allie, again, what she was doing, taking away everyone's pain, having everyone live in this virtual paradise. There's no way to logically argue against that. Like, logically, that is the greatest happiness for the greatest number, but you lose some kind of humanity, maybe something that's hard to define, but there's a reason why the Matrix, most people would say, well, no, I mean, even if it's technically, you'd be happy and living in a paradise, there's some kind of humanity, some kind of reality, you've been lost. And with cannibalism, it's hard to argue logically against it, especially in this survival situation, but God, when you're watching it, it just seems like such a wrong turn. And it seems like, yeah, so I guess Octavia's the devil, McCreary is the monster, and those are the two sides now. Clarke, I guess Clarke has always been someone who's willing to do whatever it takes, and there's no line she won't cross, but her circle of who she cares about has gotten smaller and smaller. It used to be all of humanity, and she was going to do whatever it takes for all of humanity to survive. Then it was just her people, and you saw at Mount Weather, she killed a lot more people than she saved, but she saved her people. Now her circle it's just herself, I guess, but Madi above all else, and maybe her mom to an extent, so she's still willing to do anything, but the people she's cared about is just shrunk and shrunk and shrunk. And then if it wasn't clear enough, Clarke just says to Madi, "You're my people now," which I guess it's sweet in a way, but it's frustrating. Clarke, all this characterization has been built up that she's able to kind of be a leader, put her personal feelings aside, do what's good for the greater good, and now to see her, I guess, be very, very human. And it makes sense that living alone with just Madi, she would have developed this very natural motherly bond. It's just kind of frustrating when you see that put in a character that we have certain views of and certain attachments built over so many seasons, to see her act in a way that I guess is very human, but it's still a little frustrating, and in some sense seems like a bit of a regression for the character. I don't know how we're supposed to view characters and their decisions this season. In some ways I feel like it's just a big indictment on the rationalization and the justification and all the things that different characters have done in the name of survival. and this is kind of seeing all of this rationalization and doing horrible things to people in the name of survival. What we're seeing is the survival now, but it's horrifying. And Octavia, yeah, she made the decision to survive, but now her army and her Wonkru, they've just become this unstoppable force of evil that's about to destroy the only remaining land on Earth. So it's just, yeah, it's just a bad situation. Shaw and Raven, they're getting together. They're cute and all. I kind of thought her and Murphy were gonna get together, but I'm a dreamer. That's not gonna happen. But yeah, they're cute and all. But it's just a tough situation. Octavia seems insane. Like the decision she was forced to made have driven her. Again, Jaha, I think, kind of went insane in a more subtle way. She just seems completely, like, even if you defend the cannibalism thing, the burning of Monty's farm, just there's no justification. So she seems like she's been driven insane. Abby has been driven completely into addiction. So it's just, yeah, I don't know who to root for exactly. I guess it really is, yeah, the monster and the devil situation. Like, McCreary's bad, you got to root against McCreary, but Octavia's pretty bad too. So just bad all around. Clarke's not very likable. I don't know what the end game. We know we're getting more seasons, and it seems like you think they can't just stay in this pit of despair. They have to dig us out and have some redemption. But for a lot of characters, I think they might get killed off and just say that at some point the things you do to survive, they make you so evil you're beyond redemption, which is an incredibly bleak message. But I think that that's where we're going, where certain characters, I mean, Raven is just always awesome. Murphy's been great. He's had this nice redemption arc, and I think it's stable at this point. But there's some other characters big characters who I think might be getting killed off because they just some of the things they've done. And again, maybe there's no easy answers because, like, they had to do them for their people to survive, so it wasn't like it was the wrong decision. But nonetheless, they're now beyond redemption, which I hope not. I hope everyone gets redemption, but just judging by the show and what message I think they're trying to send, I think for some characters might be the end of the road.